Raynor is in the process of constructing this factory, and he has a bunch of siege tanks that are lined up over here, which I'm assuming he wants to try and move at some point into the battlefield. So he has these siege tanks now ready, and he wants to move them forward and get them into position. And this factory seems to be blocking its way, so I think he's just gonna go and attack this thing for a while. And he decides, you know what, I can't sneak through here. But then he's just annoyed by the presence of that factory, and then just attacks this thing and just destroys it anyway. Which is interesting because earlier he did float these structures around, so I'm not really sure what those siege tanks had against that factory, but they were not happy with that factory being where it was. More does not necessarily mean better, so what happened over here is Tychus and Rockslapping have gotten wiped in their attempt to engage this objective the first time. So Tychus has now added Sirius into the mix, and he wants to try and push into this objective. So more or less should not be too difficult as long as he knows how to use Sirius, because there are a bunch of burrowed units on here. So Sirius, Rockslapping, and Tychus jump in. There is a corruptor that casts corruption onto two of these outlaws, and unfortunately there is no use of the Sirius's turrets. So what happens now is a bunch of swarm hosts have spawned a bunch of locusts, and in addition to the broodlings there, Tychus and Sirius go down, and now Rockslapping is standing in his healing zone, and he also ends up getting wiped in the process. When playing Fenix, having a bunch of Colossi in your army can be very useful, especially when you're up against certain Zerg compositions, because they provide you with a good amount of damage, but they also attack from range, and their damage is splash. So this Fenix has taken it to heart, and they have a total of 6 Colossi and 1 Warbringer out. Units lost here, you will see that they have 11 Colossi lost and 4 Warbringers, which means that they have gone for a mass Colossus build. And now they want to go for the bonus objective against a Zerg composition. First, Harass Wave has spawned now and will start attacking some of these units. There is a stasis on here, but stasis is not very useful in keeping units alive because it only stalls your imminent demise. And now the second wave has spawned, and those are the 2 Colossi and the 1 Warbringer out. Dalindar is left by himself, and he also gets wiped in the process. And now there is another Warbringer over here. This Warbringer is not going to be having a good day because he also gets focus fired down by the rest of these units over here. And now that is a data core lost. We can see that Denaka is getting ready to burst down the bonus objective, which is the pirate ship that is on this map, and you can see already an army of Ravistors that are ready to go and attack this ship. And what he's done is he's also made a few Ultralisks and Tyrannosaurs and some Hydralisks, and you can see he's getting ready now to launch a massive offensive against this helpless pirate ship. It's just innocently minding its own business on this map. So he is making now some more Mutalisks, and he's gonna get ready now to start charging in. And yeah, the pirate ship will be caught unawares. And there we go. Denaka is actually charging in now, and now we have the triple back leader call down on this, and the pirate ship decides to use its barrage over here, pretty much one-shotting all the Mutalisks that is there as part of Denaka's army. And then another shot goes off, and that is pretty much 11 Ravistors, 9 Mutalisks, 20 Zerglings, a Roach, and a Hydralisk all dead. Raynor's air army is really strong, and especially if you get a good massive units, but on missions like minor evacuation it can be a little tricky to get everything set up. Both players here have decided that they want to split and do 2 ships at the same time, so you can see here that Raynor is having a few problems with getting this first evacuation ship to launch. So he decides to drop a mule now, but that mule gets focus fired down by a bunch of Banshees that are cloaked. But he hasn't really noticed, and he decides to drop another mule just to be safe. So that mule also ends up going down to those Banshees. He finally realizes it, and then he drops his scan, and his army is able to clear out the invisible Banshees that are there, that are trolling him. So that should be the first hint that this might be a bad idea. But Raynor is determined to save these Kalmorian miners, so he is going to get ready to drop another mule down in just a little bit. but apparently he doesn't have enough energy, so he decides to send an SCV across. So his 2 orbital CCs on this mission have run out of energy, and this might be the makings of a disaster in just a little bit. So he has started to launch with the 1 SCV ready there to help, and now his Banshees are able to hold against the aberrations and the infested that are spawned, because they actually do a good amount of damage. And now these Banshees are starting to approach him, and they are actually aggroing Abathur's Locusts over here, but Abathur's Locusts don't really spawn very often. So now they're going to start attacking this this evacuation ship. You can see 1 Banshee is already starting to attack this ship, and now there are 2 Banshees that are starting to make their damage, and now there's a 3rd one. Abathur's Abathur realizes that he's saying scan, but unfortunately the Tuna Fish Hybrids run past there, and the Raynor's army aggroes the Tuna Fish Hybrids instead of the Banshees, and the Banshees do end up killing off that evacuation ship, and now they just burrow down there and are just laughing at Raynor right here. Press F to pay respects to the Kelmorian miners that went down in that evacuation ship.